So, hopefully every one of you is doing great. Let me quickly check my settings, and I think we can get to work quickly then. Alrighty, seems nice. Let me also check one more thing. I think I should be able to open it right here as well. Awesome, cool. Hello, hello, and welcome everyone. So yeah, I'm just gonna be working on some Angular stuff today. So we'll look into some stuff related to one of the libraries that I maintain, but then we'll also look into Pulse Checker, an app that I've been working on for quite a while now. So both of them are gonna be the things we'll look at today. All right, let's switch to it and we'll see if everything looks nice. Can I move the camera? Let's see. Yes, should be able to. Cool, awesome. So what we are looking at here right now is that's not the right one. So this is one of the libraries I maintain, and I got something that I just merged to it. So we're gonna see if everything looks nice, and then we'll take it from there. But in the meantime, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the chat. Ooh, why don't I have this background color? Select color, blah blah blah. Need to regular. Tracks transform, blah blah blah. And then we also should have, oh, there we go. We do have the background color, but why isn't it being applied? Oh, the opacity, of course, yes. That's what I wanted. Cool. There we go. Awesome, awesome. So, how's it going, everyone on Facebook? How is it going today? Good to see you all here. And we can also bring the chat in. There we go. All right. So, this is the package that I need to look at. And those of you who already know about the package, sorry about that. I didn't get the chance before that. So let's go here. We have this guy, personal contributions, and let's go to git clone, and we can open it into VS Code now. Angular tags input. All right. So what I was hoping was to upgrade this to one of the later version of Angular, but then also first to test what we have done or what has been implemented recently. So let's go ahead and install the packages. That makes sense. So we have some, okay. Okay. So we're gonna upgrade our project, but in a bit. But I do want to test one thing before we do so. How's everyone doing on Facebook? Hello, hello. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's see. Let's wait for this to finish. There we go. Let's quickly do npm. I think the package script is. Let's open the app and see if everything works with the tooltip that has been implemented now. Hey, Awais, good to see you. Mm-hmm. I know that most of the people in Pakistan are either going to be asleep or would be gaming or would be watching a drama, but that's essentially everyone. Okay, unsupported NVMLS. Okay, so mm, we would either have to upgrade everything or use something. So NVM ls remote. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. NVM on off. What was the one that was NVM list? Yes, NVM list available. So what I want to install is I think 16.x, the latest one. So it's gonna be 16.20.1. That's the latest one, or latest in 16.x at least. So NVM install. Qasim says yeah, drama. Exactly. Okay, then we can use nvm use 16.20.1. Yes, yes again. And now I think we can go to npm install, and I think it should be fine. But with the peer legacy peer dependencies. Where did you go? There you are. Okay, so then npm start. Cool, let's see. And the reason we had to do this is because the library is built with an older version of Angular, so that doesn't support the or that some of the things or the executables are not supported by the latest Node.js version. So we could either then upgrade Angular or the library to its latest to the newer versions of Angular, which would support the later Node.js versions, or we could just downgrade Node.js for our system. So we just use 16 or Node.js 16, if that makes sense. Anyways, so now that we have this, let's actually go to localhost 4200, and we should be able to see the app. So in here, I think the implemented tooltip where exactly? I think on this one. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, so the tooltip seems to be nice. I need to still see if I can say clear input text on focus. So if I say something like blah blah blah, remove this, click this, and click this, so this gets removed. I do also want to then see if I can toggle the tooltip at all. So in this case, I think it should be inside. And this is a library I created, and now I don't remember the code at all. Uh, let's see. And now that I see the code, I'm like, oh, I could have done that in a much better way now. But this was how long ago actually? I can't see that because I don't have gitlance. Maybe let's install gitlance. No, we have it. So 4 years ago. That makes sense. It makes perfect sense. So 4 years ago, I built something. 4 years later, I'm fixing. Still, that's something. So I should have a. I think everything starts with the module. Where's the module? Here. So Angular tags input module. So I do have them installed. Then I should have, but I don't have a configurator here. Now I don't want to re-architect the whole library. So how about we take this slow? How about we we don't cause trouble. Okay, so we have a tag input and which is essentially this guy. So you can add this guy, this, or this guy, and this guy, and this guy. And we can have all of them in this case. So this is the most basic tag input thingy. But if I wanted to have tooltip on anything, then I could have it, for example, on this item. So I could say, hey, Dexter's lab, pop, you're there. And now we should have a tooltip on that. So if we look at the PR that I just merged a couple of minutes ago, closed, tooltip unstable, fixed by blah, blah, blah code, and the files changed. So what really changed, we had the drop down component. And in the drop down, if we had a config hover property, then we could show tooltip. So tooltip for input is a string. Tooltip overlay origin is the CDK overlay origin. Tooltip timeout is any. That doesn't make sense. I should not have approved this, but okay. And then we have input tooltip shown boolean. Cool. So let's fix the code then. So in this case, was it drop down component? No. Which component is it? Drop down component. So drop down component.ts. Key press is also any. Drop down template is also any. How many any's do we have here? 10 any's. That makes sense. So template ref any, blah blah blah. Items map is a string any. Items map, maybe that makes sense, but we also had a timeout that had any as well. Let's go with any. Tooltip timeout. So if you look at the set timeout function, what it returns essentially is a timer. So you could assign either Node.js timer, or it's essentially, I think, an input. So if I change this to a number, or would it be timer? Node.js dot timer. Then I think this should still be working. And if I wanted to save this, for example, into a const, or not Node.js, const timer, then if I mouse over this, you can see the timers type Node.js timer in this case. Cannot find namespace Node.js. But set timer itself gives us back a number, which set timeout. We're not using that. Wait a second. Set timeout is here. Okay. When we use clear timeout, it's also Node.js timer. And that's not the one that I want. That's a bit weird. Why does it say Node.js timer? Clear timeout. JavaScript. Pretty sure what it takes is the timeout ID. The timeout ID is supposed to be what you return back. Hey, return value. So timeout ID is a positive integer value which identifies to a number, right? So this should be a number. Why is it not a number? That's super weird. Okay, so here we had the tooltip for timeout. This should be a number, right? And then if we go to set timeout, tooltip timeout, this should be a number as well. Hey Noman, how's it going? I'm really skeptical. Why is that the case in this case? Because it says this should be timer, but it should not be timer, because if I try to do Node.js, that doesn't exist in that doesn't exist on the browser, so that wouldn't work at all. But this seems weird. Hmm. Anyways, so then when we do clear timeout, it essentially takes an ID, which makes sense. So in the hide tooltip, that works. Okay, so in this case, we have the drop down component, and in the drop down component, we also have the config, right? So if I go to Angular tags input config, we have so many config here. So timeout, no. Tooltip, nope. Um, hmm. The problem is if something has a property that they have and they want to show it or hide it, then that doesn't make sense to not have a flag for this one. So maybe we want to have, I think I should have show tooltip on options, and that should be a boolean. So we should be showing the tooltip or not, and this means that in here, once we get the configuration, we should be able to have tooltip timeout, blah blah blah, all of this not being there at all if the config is not true. So in this case, if there's a drop down template, you use it, then you create a context functions on click, show tooltip dot bind this, hide tooltip dot bind this. So we have a list key manager, populate items, blah blah blah, on geon changes, oh, blah blah blah. So I think the main thing would be right. Is key. The problem here is still is, if I go here and say this guy, and if I hit a key, does it work? No. But if I go here and say keyboard up and down, that doesn't work. Nope. How is it that we have not implemented a hmm hmm okay, we'll have to fix a bunch of things, but we'll look at that later on. But in the case of mouse enter and mouse leave, what we have just added to this, I think the only thing that we want to do is this guy. So if not config dot tooltip, then you can just return. And then in this case also. So this shouldn't work if we have no particular if we don't have the configuration enabled, then this shouldn't be working, which makes sense. And that also means that I should not have a couple of things as well. So in this case, if I go here and see anything that has anything to do with the tooltip, then I should not have it. So this whole thing and the template, tooltip for input, where did you come from? Oh, it's a string. No, but then it shouldn't only be this guy. It should also be if ng, if config.tooltip options, then this exists. Otherwise, it should not even exist. The template itself. Tooltip, blah, blah, blah. Okay, what do we have apart from this? So I think, yeah, this looks nice. Let's see if we can test this, and I think we should be good. So then we can also have the demo add the example. So those who run it can actually make it work. Clear ls npm, or actually this is working. So in this case, if I now mouse over, nothing works, and that is the idea, because right now I only want to show the tooltip when I have that configuration on. So let's go to the demo file, demo, and we should have the demo file should have a configuration in the app component. In here we'll say show tooltip options true. If I do this, then I should have the tooltip option working. No? Yes? No? Tractor slab? No? It doesn't show? What? Alright, let's see. Maybe because of the way we have written this. Could be that the ng template doesn't even exist. Wait a second. Dexter slab. Nope. Doesn't show it. So my first guess is that this is causing it. And we'll debug as well, of course. Don't worry. So now if I try this, okay, no, then my guess is inaccurate. So drop down component dot ts. Where are you? Here you are. So in this case, config, no, show tooltip options. It should be at the end. So if I go right here, right? Config dot show tooltip on options. No, this is not there. Why is it not there? Where does this come from? So this is the drop down component, right? So in this case, we should have this selector somewhere. Now let's see, maybe some place it's missing where it should pass the things from. So ti drop down. Let's see where you are being used. Angular tags input. Here you are. So in this case, we do pass the config as config, and the config is retrieved in the Angular tags input component, which should be this guy. So if I do this, then from my demo, I should be able to see. All right, so these are all the demos that we have, right? And this one, for example, every one of them should have a config. Where are you, config? Tags data. Yeah, simple tags input config 2. What? Okay, so we have multiple configs. Let's say tooltip options true. Which one was this one? Nested text input config, of course. So in this case, that's not the one. This is option to hide taken items from list, and that would be not this one, this one. And this one has a nested, no, simple text input config 2. So this is the one where I want to add this. Okay, but let's see. So now it should show. Yay, it shows now. Yay. Cool. Okay, so but what I don't understand is how do you, when you change something, how do you change everything? So where are my inputs? So here, hide tags. Whenever something changes, change config option, hide tags. Nice. But then config 2, but it only changes the config 2 one. And config 2 is this guy. Options to hide taken items from the list, blah blah blah. Okay, we need to do better on this one, but I'll just keep it short. So in this case, we should rather just say input tags Let's fix this guy. In here, we have options to hide tag, change config option. So we would have to add another one that says, I don't know, maybe something like name tick mark. What? Oh, okay. So name should be something like tooltip options. And this should be dot show tooltip on options. And this guy would be then this guy show tooltip on options. And then we should have the we do have the name already, but let's copy this guy. We should also have the ID as the same value, I would say. Let's see. So in this case, if I go ahead and say I tick no, show tooltip on options. So in this case, this is the one. So if I say off, go here, you can see there's no tooltip. But if I toggle this again, and now if I go here, hey, we do have the tooltip. Okay, so in this case, that works. I think what we should do is to add this in the README so they know there's an option. README this guy, I think. We don't have any README whatsoever. Do we create documents? No. Yes. No. Package JSON. No, we don't have any docs as well. That makes it a bit tricky. So maybe I should add some tickets to at least create a README in that case. So, or not create a README, but rather create a docs. Oh, I already have the ticket that was created in 2020. No. Okay, we'll look into it. But right now, I think the priority is at least to get this feature out. For property string, blah blah blah, drop down, blah blah blah. Okay. Okay, this is not so cool because I modified the entire file. Let's remove this guy. Did we have a? We don't have an ESLint, right? So let's add ESLint. Let's start with this guy. Hello, Ahsan. Did you check the stream software? Probably is the issue from the software like OBS. I'm not sure how I would test it, to be honest, because I tested the restream thingy. If I watch on Twitch right now, let's have a look at the Twitch if I can see on Twitch what's happening. So in here, I still see the black screen. I'm not really What if I toggle? Oh, I think I broke restream in the software. Definitely, yes. I broke restream. Look at this, what this says. Nope. You see this thing, this white thing, this is the broken one. Okay. Chat, restream channels. Let's see. Let's reload this guy. Okay, I have no clue to be honest. Maybe it's my entire Chrome that's gone now. Yes, it could be, but we will see. I don't like this. Task manager. Let's see what you've got. DaVinci Resolve. Let's end this guy. I don't think so. We got Docker. We don't need that at the moment. VLC and task. VS Code. Let's keep that guy. But with Google itself, it seems like it's taking. Ooh, efficiency. Makes sense. Mm, hmm. I don't know. Should I Control Shift Windows B? Does it close everything or what happens? What does that do? Does it re-render everything from the GPU or something like that? But I could just delete everything. Oh, not delete everything, but get rid of Chrome and restart it. Let's do that. Uh, get rid of Chrome. Refreshes drivers. Yeah, thought so. Cool. And let's go with this guy. Go with this guy. Restore. Twitch is there. Hmm. Most recent video is this one, but I still need to see the restream channels. No, this guy is still broken. The restream channels one. You see, this guy's black right now, or not black but white. Anyways, we'll see. We'll see when the time comes. So not to go into that at the moment. All right. So now that we have this done, let's install ESLint and let's fix the just imports and exports. Yes. React View none. Yes. I think browser popular style guide. Let's go with standard JavaScript. Yeah, let's install them. Let's install with npm. Cool. Let's see. Legacy peer depths. Let's install for now. Enforce code style. JavaScript. None. Yes. Browser. Popular style guide. Standard. JavaScript. Yes. npm. Okay, so the idea right now is we're going to release a new version of this app or this library, and then we'll take it from there. Restream channels. All right, so restream is back. We're toggling back on Twitch, and we'll see if everything looks good there. Git status. Ba ba ba. So now I could do, if I go to lint, I think from TS lint we can quickly go towards rather ESLint. And we can also go away from TSLint as well, or npm uninstall TSLint legacy peer deps just in case. And I think we should be able to then have our lint say ESLint, and I think projects ts should be good. So npm run lint. Let's see. What does it say? Error while loading rule TypeScript ESLint dot notation. You must parse options or project property for your oh yeah, I think I know what this means. So I think here it would have to also say project, if I'm correct. Parser options or project, and here it should go for tsconfig.json as far as I remember. Well, we'll see. Yeah, okay, so now we can see some of them actually fail. Polyfills.ts, environment.ts, extra semicolon, blah blah blah. Okay, so we then go about fixing those, and we can say fix. Okay, we still have a lot of issues. This rule requires the signature to be done on the function correctly. So let's see. This should be in the compiler options. Strict. Strict null checks. True. Let's see. 200 problem is still. So we have useless constructor. We have imports. But I have this turned on. No? TypeScript explicit return type. I don't. Quick fix. Let's see the TS config. Mm-hmm. And then what do we have? Make unexpected value in conditional explicit comparison cause is required. Where does this come from? Tag pipes. And this one says the tags list itself is of type any or an array of any. I think this should actually never happen, but yeah, that might be true. But then we have expected comma. What happened? something weird happened. And that is if I want to go with ESLint and TypeScript, which what is this using for formatting? Prettier? No, I don't want prettier. Uh, mm, mm-hmm. Let's actually have a look, because the problem is if I start with the extents in this case, it would be like red all over. Let's see if we want to go with a very basic one, then we'll take it from there. So not too strict, to be honest. So if I go here, it says type compare. Yeah, the component fixture should be this. So this guy then, com- the component, unexpected token, this ESLint. What are you talking about? But let's see which other files are those. This guy, unexpected token const, ESLint. Mm, I think ESLint is broken, or at this point maybe not working well. I want to see, so we are using ES2021, ECMO version latest, source and module project. And if we go with the lint fix, let's see. So it does require the project. And our TS config itself is pretty basic, to be honest. Let's go with 2021. 2021. Let's see. So at least all of them are targeting the same thing. 191 problems. All right. Which file is this? This is this guy. Okay. Then we would have to fix these manually, and we would then also have to see. Okay. So max time is going to be number undefined, expect property mixer with declare. Yes. So this should be undefined in this case. No suitable injection token for parameter SSO of class Angular text input. Consider regular import or use inject decorator injection token. Okay. Interesting. So scroll strategy options. Where does this come from? Ah, okay. So this should not be this, and this should not also be this in this case. Makes it a bit difficult because if you use type, then I can't use it as injection token. So if I need to use injection token, it says changing the type on import to regular import or use the inject decorator to specify an injection token. Mm-hmm. 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 Okay, we could go ahead with this, but the problem with that, I mean, we could go with inject as well, but I think if I started working on this, this wouldn't finish. At least this night. So I don't want to do it, to be honest. Let's change what we have, or let's keep what we have changed, and let's remove the extra stuff in this one. So let's keep the only things that we fixed, and that's going to be really difficult now looking at what we wanted to do. Mm-hmm. All right, let's see. So on change, and that's why you should also commit as soon as there is a stable change. Height drop down. Mm-hmm. I don't think I need changed anything here. Tag close click, blah blah blah. No, I don't think I changed anything here. I'm going to text input. This guy, nothing changed. I remember nothing changed in this file. I did change in drop down here. I did change something, but I'll see what exactly that was. I think it was the tooltip options boolean, so just this guy. But apart from that, I don't think anything I added. So unadded text, nope. Drop down component, nope. This I changed a bunch of things here. I think it was tooltip timeout number and some other things as well, but I'll add this file for now. Keyboard activity, nothing, nothing. Tag component, nope. Tag this, not really. Um, I did change something in. Let's see, reset input. Nope. I did change something in the app component here. Yes. So this guy, this goes. And did I change something in the other file? Tag input. Yeah, I changed this guy. Let's add this file as well. App module. I did nothing there. Data. Nope, 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 nope. So the rest of the things I'm gonna actually revert. Yes. All right. Let's go ahead and fix this. So npm I. Abdul Wajid says, big fan Hassan bhai. Ah, no need to be. What are you doing so late? All right, let's see. So npm run lint ng-lint runs, hopefully finds some error, and I think we should be able to fix them as well. Missing semicolon, blah blah blah. Nice, a bunch of errors. So now that we have them, we can say npm run lint fix. Let's fix them errors. Did that fix it or no? Now it should work. Yes. Tag input interfaces. Dropdown component.ts. Okay, so we fixed some linting errors, but we still have some linting errors, which makes perfect sense. So here it says fix 50 errors, blah blah blah, but this guy still has an error description. Maybe we can shift it down a bit. Okay, so maybe keep it like this. Let's see. Oh, fix 50 errors. But are there more errors in there? Hopefully not. Cool. So everything works. Linting errors gone. Let's do a release and plan for the update migration. I think that should fix most of the things. So let's go here, git add, git commit, um, or feed, show, or maybe drop down, show tooltip on drop down options. Cool. Now that we have this, let's have a look at the packages. And so when we do a release, it does a copy readme, builds the library, and copy readme, what does it do? It copies the basic readme into projects. Okay, and then we have cd dist blah blah blah, publish access public. Cool. So in this case, I think I should. अफसल भाजी says ऐसे नहीं होता भाई. अच्छा ठीक है. Sure. चलें, ये हो गया. So that means now I can create a new release. So git status, git tag. So if I see the last release, why do we have errors now? Dropdown component.ts line number 5 colon 8. Line number 5. What's line number 5? अच्छा, चलें इसको ज़रा दोबारा सर्व करते हैं then. If everything looks nice, then we'll just create a new release. Or if I look at the last release of the package, that should be GitHub IO max tags input, and the last release was 0.1.11. Okay, this fails to develop, which makes perfect sense. So drop down component, it says this. So type on changes. I think this type, we probably don't need it. So we're gonna remove those. And did we miss anything else? Type. The last migration we did added some types to a bunch of things, so we need to remove those. Cool. Now it should work. 1, 2, 3, and everything should be green. Yay! Awesome. So now we can have a look at here. Yay! This one looks nice. And then if I hide the tooltip, doesn't show. Super cool. Awesome. So we are able to toggle that. Okay, if I look at the release, it was 0.1.11. If I look at the tag status, git tag, yeah, that was the latest one. So let's create another one. Git add, git commit, amend, git tag 0. No, wait a second. We'll first release and then we'll create the tag. So in this case, let's quickly do npm run release. But then we'll have to change the package.json. So this one, nope. But for the project, it should be tags input package JSON 0.1.12. Did anything else change? I don't think so. Package log JSON 1.2 ng package JSON doesn't really matter. Cool. So then we can do something like npm run release and see if this goes through. Copy ng build Error, just 20% complete किया है आपने bro. True. Okay, so we still have some problem. What are the problems? Input tooltip positions does not exist of type dropdown component. Are you sure? Because oh yes, it doesn't exist there. Into tooltip positions. What? Did we remove something? So master on this one, and I have not pushed my code yet. So if I look at hmm no, I want to actually go ahead and see and browse everything. Okay, let's see. So this says input tooltip positions is not there. What do you mean it's not there? Oh, it's really not there. Okay, I'm not sure. Maybe I should ask tooltip positions. Drop down overlay positions. I think, yeah, maybe they forgot to add this. Okay, anyways. So this was position. And I have a bunch of results for this one. But this should only be in the TypeScript file. All right, so this guy is here. And that's pretty much it. If I look at the HTML, then I'm using drop down overlay position, which makes sense, but then also input tooltip position. And this doesn't exist. So we need to see if there is a position. Let's see. Input tooltip positions. Let's go with this guy. I do want to still run and see if everything looks nice. If it doesn't, then we'll have to, because it also has the offsets. That becomes a bit of a problem, but we'll see if this looks nice or not. Okay, let's see this guy. Search, show tooltip. Let's refresh, show tooltip. Now you see it's far away, and that is because of the offset. So we don't want as far, we want a bit far but not too far. So this one, I think we don't need offset Y, and this and this and this. So let's see. Okay, this looks nice. This looks nice as well. Okay, so we'll keep this ones and then we'll take it from there. So let's try to build the app. Npm run build. फैसल आरिफ कह रहे हैं अदील को बहुत ज़्यादा क्या? What are we talking about? चलें, let's see. Okay, so build done. Status npm run release. Let's see. What find parent directory.js? I have no clue what that is. But we have now published a new version, which sounds nice. So we can tag this guy as get tag 0.1.12, git push, and git push tags. All right, so we can push the tags now, and the library is released already. So if we go to npm.js and we go to IOMX Angular tags input, there we go, and published a minute ago. Cool, awesome. So we have this right here. And if I go to my GitHub, this guy, let's go back. So we should have the code as well 7 minutes ago. And we should also then add a release as well. So let's go here, draft a new release, choose a tag 0.1.12. Let's also say 0.1.12 is the release name. And we can, of course, thank Hamad for his contributions. So Hamad Khan. Thanks to, oops, for the feature of tooltip drop down menus. And we can add both the PRs. One was 51 and 53. 51, 53. Cool. Set as the latest release. Yes. Cool. Do we need anything else from this one? No. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask right in the chat, and I will be right back in just 2 minutes. चलें जी, I'm back. So, okay, if I can see my camera back, that would be nice. Mm-hmm. Give me 1 second. अच्छा, आप लोग जो फेसबुक पे देख रहे हैं, व्हाट आर यू डूइंग, व्हाट आर यू वर्किंग ऑन? आप किसी स्पेसिफिक टेक्नोलॉजी पे काम कर रहे हो या फिर कुछ सीख रहे हो अभी? व्हाट आर यू अप टू? एंड देयर वी गो. अच्छा, ऐसा हुआ है, रुकिए ज़रा. अब सही है. चलें जी, ये तो हमने रिलीज़ कर दिया, तो लेट्स मूव फॉरवर्ड. इसमें आई वाज वर्किंग ऑन समथिंग, और उसके लिए मुझे कोड पुल करना पड़ेगा, तो गिव मी 1 सेकेंड. हम्म. हम्म. Mm, git status, git checkout, B. हम क्या कर रहे हैं? क्या हम प्रोजेक्ट्स वाला काम अभी कर लें कि हम सिक्योरिटी वाला काम करें? तो यू फोक्स हु आर वाचिंग ऑन फेसबुक, वी आर गोइंग टू वर्क ऑन एन ऐप जो कि ये है, एंड इट्स बिल्ड विद एंगुलर. तो हमें काम ये करना है, माइट हैव टू गो टू दिस गाय, restore pulse check and rectify app. तो दिस इज़ द ऐप दैट आई हैव. मैं करना ये चाह रहा हूँ अभी कि what I want to do is to be able to have projects within error joining the session. What happened? What happened? Join 500. Ooh, that's nice. So we have an error. All right, we'll start looking into the error itself, but let me push my code first. So feature, secure public, feed secure public endpoints, and we do not add the dump, but we do add the Prisma. Git status, commit m, work in progress. Secure public endpoints, and there we go. Cool. So what we can do now is कि हम इसको ज़रा pull कर लें और देखें why do we have an error. We should be able to get it by VS Code. Let's open pulse checker, and then we'll go from there. Let's do a git fetch. और हमें शायद डॉकर भी चलाना पड़ेगा, तो we'll work with docker as well. चलें, डॉकर चल रहा है, good. Git pull yarn npx yarn proceed, yes. In the meantime, let's also do docker compose up. But I think इसमें शायद सिर्फ हमारे postgres db है, right? या कुछ और भी है? I mean adminer है, but I think that should be fine. Failed to read docker file. Okay. Mm, hmm. Let's see. I think हमारी configuration शायद too much है. Maybe we don't need all of this, but then okay, I think we might not be needing all of this. PC dev blah blah blah. क्योंकि हमारी docker files missing लग रही हैं मुझे, and that is because I think मैंने उसको remove कर दिया था क्योंकि I didn't find them useful, at least for the dev and other things. But I think अगर हम सिर्फ इसका docker compose up कर दें तो it should be good. db refers to undefined network b blah, blah, blah. Yes. Yes, this doesn't make sense. चलें फिर नेटवर्क बना देते हैं यार, नेटवर्क बना देते हैं. चलो चलें जी, हमारा पोस्टग्रेस चल गया है. We would have to see git branch remote, secure public endpoints. This is the one I'm looking at. ठीक है, ऐसा होगा मतलब. Git check out main branch remote. अच्छा, हमें ये वाली चाहिए, secure public endpoints. Git check out feat just secure public endpoints. Now we are good. अच्छा, हमें करना ये है, what we have to do right now is we're gonna try to make sure that we can define where some public endpoints can fetch the data from. Okay, so we're gonna have to create a nest.js middleware. Reject all. And what we will do is, whenever there's a public endpoint, we need to see where we can actually get the domains where our app can run. Okay, so in this case we would have to create something like I'm thinking middleware customer excluding route functional middleware. All right, let's go with this one. So we're going to create a middleware that would be that would have to see if If the request is initiating from my own server, and the second thing would be I would have to see another middleware where we can check if the session we are trying to get is only deployed on some other. So, let me try to explain to you what I'm trying to do. So this is a session, but I can't log. I can create it. All right, let's do this. Let me show you what I mean. Mm-hmm. And then also we would have to look into the environment variables as well. So give me 1 second, just to make sure that I can have the database middleware as well. And this should be SQL. It should be localhost slash PostgreSQL. Okay. And I would have to restart my server. Give me 1 second. Okay, let's see. Mm-hmm. Okay, then I should be able to. So now I think I should be able to work with that. So npx d prisma db push. Let's see. I don't know what is the password of Postgres in this case. It's a Postgres user, username, and password. The DB is Kiwi. Why do I have the DB set to keep Kiwi? Let's go with localhost and pass. The DB can be Kiwi. So give me 1 second. So I can also fix that in the env. So it should be localhost at pass Kiwi. Okay, let's try this now. So if I do npx prisma db push, it should say, yay, we are done. Let's see. Candidate reach database server at pass 5432. That makes no sense. So it tried, did it try to get at no Postgres username specified in the starter packet? Okay. Give me 1 second. So my env variable in this case should be, okay. Now I know what I'm missing. So localhost pass at localhost. Authentic, they're not valid. That makes no sense. Give me 1 second. So in this case, if I look at my env variable, but then if I go like this, then it should be, let me see. So it should be something like, so it should be PostgreSQL and Docker. I changed it, but I never changed my Docker Compose. Wait a second, I would have to turn this off and do this again. So in this case, wait a second, stop, up. VF says, hi Hassan, can UI UX and front end developer can work both? Yeah, absolutely can. I know a couple of people who have both front end experience and UI UX experience both. So yes, absolutely that can happen. Well, let's see if this one works now. This one says no, couldn't do it. Why? Authentication failed. Hmm. Oh, but oh, okay. This is the one. So this guy, Docker compose down, compose up. It should go with Kiwi now. And give me 1 second so I can fix the URL as well. So this should be user name, password, password, and then it's at localhost 5432 slash kiwi, and then we have schema public. Let's see if this works. Yep, it does. Cool. So then I can simply say, so okay, so in this case you can see that it says your DB is now synced with your Prisma schema done in 263, and that means that our database is working fine. So I can also restart my server so it connects to the right database from the env file, and then we can start working on the app. But we would probably also have to change something in Supabase as well. Super Supe. Continue with, is it with GitHub? I think it is with GitHub. Then we can go to authentication. I think it's URL configuration. So this goes to, for now, localhost 4200. Save this guy. Okay, we'll see. So now if instead of this guy, I can actually go to HTTP localhost 4200. So we have the app right now. And now I could sign in via Google. And now I don't have any sessions. So I can start creating some sessions. What I wanted to do was not to be able to see a particular session outside of the domains I provide. So if I go to here and if I say, hey, this is going to be gamify, or let's call it CWA test session, then I should be able to copy the URL, go to an incognito window, and then join it as a random user. And we had an issue with joining the session, so we need to fix that as well. What is the issue though? Argument of type attendee where input needs at least one argument. Available lists are in green. Okay. So this is kind of broken. Oh, the ID is int. Interesting. attendee. So attendee, and attendee has an ID which is int, which is default auto increment. That makes sense. But then it can be a user, it can have a user. Each user can have an attendee ID, which would be unique, and can have an attendee. But or is might or might not be an attendee, so to say. But then we have attendee dot absurd, which is right here. So this should be read. Why does it fail? Okay, so way of truth says I'm a BBA student due to low marks, so I cannot be able to take admission in BSCS. Can company allow me to work as a front end developer? A lot of companies said to me, "Why you do BBA if you are in front end developer? BBA degree is barrier for me." Reply please. I don't think degree really matters if you have good skills. So if you can do bachelors in any of the fields, then it doesn't really matter, to be honest. Just go with your degree, whatever you want. But then for being a front end developer, you need skills. You don't need a degree for this because your BBA doesn't teach you that. So if you want to just be a front end developer or an average front end developer, just like most of the people, then you don't need a degree, if that makes sense. Okay. All right. So in this case, the session service is red. Why are you red? Mm-hmm. npx prisma generate. I don't know why, but this Windows DLL thing is really, really not cool. Victor says, thanks, love you, Ahsan. No problem. No problem at all. Okay, so let's see. Once this is done, we should be able to generate the client properly, and then we should be able to use it. But what I don't understand is this error. Why does it say stuff like, hey, this is not correct, that is not correct? We'll see. Cannot remove null directory not empty. What are you talking about? Wait. All right, let's see. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. 96,000. Nice. Okay, cool. Let's see now. NPX, or should we say Prisma? NPX Prisma DB or generate. Mohammad Afan is asking, what are you doing today? I'm actually working with Prisma. I'm working on this application that I'm building called Pulse Checker. So I'm working on fixing an issue that it has, but then also sort of taking it forward with more features. Walaikum assalam wa rahmatullah. Can AI replace developers? Not good developers, to be honest. but developers who don't want to learn more or to keep up, probably, or most definitely, so to say. ID number. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, let's see. Ah, Muhammad Awais Tariq, wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you doing, Awais? How's it going? Okay, everything compiled successfully. Let's try to join this thing. Error joining the session. Uh, uh, uh. Why is there no ID? What are you talking about? Fetch, join, payload, attendee. Oh, there's no ID. Why is there no ID? What? What's happening? So join session DDO component, session component has an attendee. So if we get the storage from get the attendee from storage, then we have display name of the guy. Then what we do is, if we don't have a display name, we do this. Otherwise, we do join session attendee this or attendee, right? So also we can't upsert because there's no attendee. Oh, okay, then that's a problem. That is a problem. So then the whole logic fails in this case. So we should rather be then saying if there's an attendee, create sort of use it. If there's none, then yeah, create it. So then session dot service dot ts from the backend would not be doing this. Actually, would have to do. Well, how was this working before though? 4 months ago, this should be working. That's a bit weird. How was this working before? Find by pin, find one, get user session, create. Okay. Anyways, we'll see. How to apply for jobs in UK for front end developers? Just Google job portals for UK and then start applying. That's the easiest way. So if you find websites, upload your resume, start sending your CV, start applying to different companies, and eventually you're either gonna have one or two interviews that you'll learn from and then do better the next time. So that is sort of the key in this case. So so the ID here, if I have to create one, mm, so previously if there was no ID, mm, 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 the lines with question mark are optional, right? So this one says question mark, this is optional. But then what does it say? Argument of type whether in needs at least one argument. But this where I have that, right? Mm. Available lists in the arguments are green. There's nothing in green here. So for update, mm, it's a bit tough. Where's the baby? He's sleeping. It's about 1 a.m. in the morning or at night. So he's, yeah, he's sleeping. He's sleeping like a baby. Mm, all right. What do we do about this? If there's no attendee, we're gonna create that. But if there's an attendee, then we have to hmm where ID is the number. But if we have someone whose ID matches here, but the problem, I'm thinking. Mm, so this ID should always be provided by. Mm, okay. So then, how about we do this? How about we create an ID from the front end and then we send it on the back end? So in this case, this lives here, this also lives here, but the join session component here, if we don't have an identity display name, then we should, or when we get something from storage, then the ID here, and the ID here should be, I don't know, keep it a number. So date dot now, and that should give us a number. So let's try this one. Okay, so let's try this one. So if I go here, I'm gonna have to remove this from the storage. So storage, local storage, blah blah blah. This guy, refresh, and now I should have something. Pop pop pop. Session service. This guy. Okay. So now I should be having this guy, and now if I hit join, I think it should work. Yes, no, error joining the session is still. So we sent the ID this time, but we still had an error. What was the error? What was, no, there was no error. It was just loading. So join session, error joining the session. Still, attendee is there. Display name ID both are there. Preview internal server error. So in this case, it says kind to SQL cause. Come on. Okay, so then it should be some random ID. So how about we go ahead and say join components, date.now. I don't know. To be honest, I'm out of idea. So mat of random into, I don't know, 5,000. Start with 1,000 and make it a math dot. Let's start with math. Seal. So let's try this now. Yay! Cool. So now you can add comments to sessions. Yes, we can. And the walkthrough, I've also had to change the walkthrough now. So the walkthrough .ts has config feedback comments attached to element blah blah blah. Cancel icon. The ID should be this guy, but we don't have this anymore. So this should be on the session.component.html. I'm going to show you what I mean by that. Feedback form, and we have the text area. This guy, feedback comment trigger 222. This guy. So if I go to my application and if I remove this guy, viewed, I'm gonna delete this guy. So we see again the pop-up, refresh. Yay! You can now add comments to the session. Yes, you can. So now that we have viewed this one, let's move forward. So I can say too slow, good pace, or too fast. And then I should be able to give a review to this session. What I wanted to do was that. For example, if I say uh, amazing pace, everything made sense. So if I do this, feedback submitted, and now if I go to my actual user and go to view, I see the good, and I also see amazing pace, everything made sense. So all of this I can actually see. Let me do it like this. This guy. So now you see this as well. And I can also do emojis. And if I go here, I would also be able to see the emoji count, just like this. And this guy, this guy, this guy. And if I see the network call as well and refresh this here, cool. So we see all of the emojis right here as well. What I want to do, is I want to be able to say something like, so this is a comment, and what I want to do is to do something like this. So I could go to a page and I could do something like, hey, I want this guy to have a review widget with session ID equals. Is that how it works? No? Yes? No? Session pin not found. Is it pin? What does it say? Session pin. I have good errors, I think. Session pins. Should it be named session pin? Yeah, it should be session pin. Session pin. Pa. There we go. So this is what should be shown, but I want this to be on every. I want this to be. I want it to be possible to put this on different sites, but I don't want this to be on every site possible. So this session should dictate which domains it should be part of, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's what I want, if that makes sense. So then what I want to do is, first I want this to be, so for example, this guy, not this one sends an API call, which is an open API call, so anyone can try to get this, right? But what I want actually is to say this cannot run on localhost 5000 or to any other website as well. So for that we are going to create a middleware. And can we create a middleware by just running nestg? Let's see. So in here, if I go to the site, so in here you can see that the refer here is http localhost 4200. And this is what I actually want. HIB says, how do you manage? What do you mean how do I manage? What do you mean how I manage? Manage what? So if I go here, it should say npm or not nestg help npx nestjs g help. Is it nestjs in the package JSON? Oops. Schematics, right? So hmm. Mm, let me think. So we have right now this thing here where we have apps, and this is okay. So this should be then npx nxg middleware project pc be. and the middleware name is um, allowed domains. Allowed domains. Dry run. Let's see. So I think it should be Nest.js schematics middleware. So NX next middleware. Okay. I hope that this is a function middleware. So this should be guards. Uh, dry run man there. Oh, of course I ran with dry run. So this should be then inside middlewares and then no dry run. So I actually have that created in the middlewares. There you go. So middlewares and then allowed. Cool. So this is a class. I mean, I could have methods, but class is fine. Okay. So now I have request, response, blah, blah, blah. And then I should have a global set of middleware. So I should have a static uh mm, 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 global whitelist, and the global whitelist contains http localhost localhost 4200, and then https pulse checker dot nullify dot app, maybe https pulse. Let's keep it to this. So what I want to do is I want to say if req dot headers refer, and this req, shouldn't it be a Nest.js middleware blah blah blah. So this should be where are you? Okay, let's see. So this guy should be of type request and response, right? And next function, I want these folks to be my friends. Request, response, and the next function should be next function. Response any response. So here I have request.headers refer, no, should be referrer, referrer. So in this case, I should say, hey, get me the cons referrer. Okay, so I can say if, and we can also sort of trim this out. So we can say something like referrer equals referrer dot uh let's see. Can we do something like if I do split with slashes, but then I want only the referrer to be, I mean, yes, we can remove the slash from this, but we could do something like hmm. Okay, we'll see. Dot at, if at the end we have a slash, then what we do is we take referrer dot slice start minus one, no, start 0 and end at -1, or refer, right? So it ends at -1. Does it exclude, but not including the character indicated by the end? Yeah, so -1 is good. Good. So we are going to then say if um, allowed global domains middleware dot global whitelist dot includes this guy referrer, right? Uh, what? Oh, as string. So if that's the case, right, then we should do response dot oops status 403 dot json message um allowed to perform this action and return. No, should we go to the next one? I don't think so. So return, otherwise we call the next method, right? So now that we have this, we would have to say consumer.apply for routes. Ooh, okay. But what is this consumer thingy? Consumer. Middleware consumer. Aha, okay. So then we can say middleware consumer in the app module. Mm. Or should we do it in the session module? Now I'm confused. Maybe we should do it in the session module. So app sessions, session module. Let's import middleware consumer from nest common. Then we have just this guy in the nest module. What? Okay. Okay. Now I got it. So this guy. So then we should have allowed global domain middleware for routes session controller. Cool. So that means if I am trying to now request something from, if I refresh, is Fiverr internal server, beautiful, just so nice. Reading at, of course, reading at, perfect. So this guy has a referrer at, and in this case, it could not get the header completely. I want to log this guy. Let's see. Restarting. Let's wait for a while. Okay. We ready? Yes. And now we can see what happened. So in this case, the referrer. Oh, but what? Don't we have don't the referrer? That's the one. But this is in session controller right now. It's referrer. Where did I get the spelling from? Referrer. Change it. Change this guy. Change this guy to be this guy. And then this guy changes to this guy. This guy. Can I please rename you all? Yes. Thank you. And now I should have this working. I hope. Refresh. Failed. But that's because the server did not start so far. Yay! No, 403. Cool. So now it says you're not allowed to perform this action because it tries to look into this and somehow it doesn't work. So that means we are looking at the referrer right here, but then I want to do it here. So what is the referrer when this happens? And what was it this time? So this time it was localhost 4200 slash. Okay, let's see. 403. So this time it was HTTP localhost 4200, right? And we have, oh, we should say if it doesn't include, my logic was flipped. Now that makes sense. Let's see. So if I do this guy, yay, there you go. So if any other site apart from my site tries to access any API calls from anywhere at all, then this would work. Cool. Cool, 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 cool. Okay. But then the only thing would be if I have to try, if I have to have all my APIs coming from a particular domain, then this works perfectly because now I can tell, all right, my app works on this domain and that domain. And then if they have a referrer, then I can say, cool, awesome. But then if it doesn't have it, then we have a problem. So then we would have to do, then we would have to override the middlewares. Can I do Nest.js override middlewares? Multiple middlewares. So here, global. I think global is but I think multiple. If I want multiple, then provide common separated list inside the apply method, but then it would be sequential. So then I'm thinking, and if I want to not provide them globally, then what happens? Applying a middleware. There's no place for middleware in the module decorator. Instead, we set them up using the configure method of the module class. But you do have the methods, right? So then the only thing becomes is you can get reviews, but you should not be able to post them because that is what people could exploit. But then when I think about it, I think the get can be exploited as well. I'm thinking. Mm, 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 mm. Hmm. Mm-hmm. All right, let's see. So we do have the route wildcards, AB blah blah blah, request method all. Hmm. Okay, think. So what I want to do is I want to be able to at least put it on all the sessions here, right? And I now don't want the referrer here at all because I can take care of that in the middleware. So if I say that, hey, I want you or all you calls to be only accessible by these domains, but then I want to say that no, they can be accessible by other domains as well. That is going to be tricky, right? That's going to be tricky. Can we? Oh, there's one thing we could do now that I think about it. Hmm. So what we could do is, I'm thinking, what we could do is we could we would either have to make different routes for the public calls, or because I think that would make it much easier to work with those. Otherwise, yeah, I think the easiest way to do this is to have is to manage it via different middlewares and middle different session. And this is for you folks who were saying, hey, we want something for the senior engineers and everything is for the beginners. So this is the senior engineering talk right now. So let me tell you what the problem is. The problem is I have to have two things. One, let me show you. Can I embed this into any other page? So if I go right here, can I embed it right below this guy? Where are you? There you are. So you are pre. If I do go here and right after this pre, I say, hey, I want an iframe with the source set to this guy and do this, right? If I wanted to do this, then you would see that you can actually have it right here on this side, and this doesn't look good. So let me bring this guy. Where are you? Give me 1 second. Screen. Come back here. So that's fixing things in production. Push up, push up, and and how about myself? I make myself a bit smaller, but not too small. Like this guy. Is this good? Can you type a thumbs up in the chat if it's too big, or if it's good? If it's too big. So what I want to do is, this is a feedback that I want to be able to get on other sites. But the problem with this one is that now this site, nestjs.com, has sort of the access, or not. When I think about it now, actually it's not really that, or maybe it is. Let's see. If I try to do something like, hey, good pace, no, too fast, too fast, idiot. If I do something like this, provide your name defaults, an anonymous user, let's say someone trying to be cool. Okay, so if I do this, then feedback submitted, right? Attendee feedback, we got the user created. And if I go to my app now, right here, I should be able to see the other guy as well. Too fast, idiot, right? But now if I try to reload this iframe, can I reload this iframe? Reload frame, right? So reload frame, let's see. So this guy, when this sends the call to my backend, the referrer is, since I'm loading localhost 4200, the calls are being sent from localhost 4200. And the problem with this case is, I want to be here. 1 second. Yes, let's make like this. So the problem right now is my site is being, oh, that's why they try to create something on the other pages and not use an iframe. Iframe set referrer. Okay, let's see. Customize choices. And it says refer policy, no referrer. If they don't send a referrer, then we have a problem. Mm-mm-mm. Mm-mm. Mm-mm-mm. how can we set the refer policy in this case? Mm-hmm. Mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm-mm. Or am I going towards this wrong way? So let's see. So in this case, we have an iframe which we can take the referrer from, but the referrer, if I embed something inside an app, the referrer for my calls is still the iframe, which means it's still this is localhost. But I want to make sure that my iframe cannot be used inside other applications, which is a tricky part. So I want to say that this can only be requested from or can be used either from my app, or it shouldn't even be possible to get it from my app, essentially this route, the review widget, but it should be, I'm thinking still, it should be possible to get it from my site pulse checker, but it should not be possible for them to get any data if it's not my site, even if it's iframe embedded. So that makes this a bit difficult. Give me 1 second. How do I'm gonna try to see something. So in this case, mm, 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 I could see the referrer, but the problem is still. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm gonna ask ChatGPT what what can we do about this. But the problem with iframes, let's see. Mm, let's see what we get out of this. Pa, pa, pa. Can I do this? No. Oh, it's because there are two different windows. All right. All right. Let's do this. So in this case, what I'm trying to say, but the problem with iframe is that if this iframe is embedded in some other web page, we will not get the referrer for that web page, but rather web page, but rather the referrer will be my site. Then how do we ensure that the public review widget can only be used in certain sites? Because that is the important part. So if I want to show a particular session, then I should be able to at least see that. Okay, so here is the interesting part. Let's see. So when a user wants to use your widget, they provide domains. Obviously, this is what I'm looking for. Then you generate a unique identifier or the API key for those domains and store in your database associating with those domains. Okay. You provide the user with an iframe embedded code that includes this identifier as a parameter. Okay. But the problem with that even is that someone can copy that API ID and identify as a parameter. Um, I mean that would not it would not solve the issue of security, but it will solve the issue of how do we know about certain domains. But that makes sense. When the iframe is loaded, it sends a request to your server to load the widget content. This request includes the identifier. Your server, you can check identifier, look at and compare them to the origin header of the upcoming. The origin header should contain the domain of the page that made the request. Okay. Origin header of the incoming request. That doesn't make sense. So if I go to my current request that I just did, are the headers including the origin? No, it's 4200. That doesn't make sense. So in this case also it's like 4200. And I don't see any information that says it was originated from docs.net.netsjs.com. Okay, so that's why we can't have it. We cannot have it. If the origin matches one of the domains associated with the identifier, you serve the widget content. If not, return an error. Yep, blah blah blah. Keep it in a full origin header. Mm, yeah. Okay. hmm. The problem is if I wanted to generate a widget instead of an iframe, then I would have to write the whole script for generating the widget, and that's not what I'm looking for completely. Right. So what do we do? How do we go around the security is the first concern, because if it's public, then anyone should be able to to see the reviews. But then when it comes to posting the reviews also, anyone could do that, and that sort of makes it a bit difficult as well. But thinking, if we really want to make it work. So okay, then I think we can then say that the origins provided by the user can essentially be stored in the database, and then we should be able to hmm shall I ask ChatGPT a stupid question? That would be, I'm sharing the reviews of the session publicly using the widget, and you're allowed to post a review as well. That may include the username as well. Do you think that's public? That shouldn't be there? Hmm. Mm-hmm. Now the problem here is user consent that we can implement. Anonymity, it's already there. Moderation, posting of the appropriate content, personal information where the review itself. I think this moderation is something that we could implement so we are not spammed by this. Sharing only the minimum amount of information necessary. Yeah, true. So the exact date and time maybe not really required. No sensitive information. Yeah, that is something we could look into. Exactly. So we don't really want a lot of things to be leaked, and I think right now we do have some of the things that could be associated with this. Um, hmm, okay. Techistic Kami. What am I trying to develop right now? I'm working with this app called Pulse Checker, which allows you to provide feedback just like this. So you can provide, I'm gonna fix my camera's battery. So this app allows you to give feedback on sessions or talks during the session, while the session is happening, or even afterwards as well. What I'm right now looking into is security and trying to make sure that one of the features that I want to implement is to be able to have reviews publicly on pages. So for example, Nest.js could implement this widget, which is the same widget as this or similar at least, and this should be, and we should be able to then, can I do margin inline auto max width 300 pixel, and I think maybe this will block. Yeah. So in this case, I should be able to give review right here. Um, but what I'm looking for right now is how to make it secure so we don't have a situation where um, we don't have a situation where someone else apart from the creator of the session, for example, this I am the creator of the session in this case, and this is running from localhost, but I want to be able to have feedback on my sessions in the app, but I want also them to be right here, let's say for in the next JS world. So those are the only sites where I want the feedback on. I don't want the feedback in any other site. So that means no one should be able to come here and copy this guy and then go and paste it on their site, if that makes sense. So that is what I'm currently looking at on how do we make this secure enough so nobody else can use it, um, which obviously involves which should obviously involve some sort of API key that we could use, or we could have some sort of mechanisms that sort of validates it. So as a session owner, I should be able to actually um, use it on my site, but still keeping it secure, or keeping it in a way that it's not exploitable, if you understand what I mean. So if you have any suggestions, let me know. But I'm thinking right now as well, uh, on how we could do that. I think the API key thingy is okay. Um, we should be able to generate an API key that expires after a while, and then yeah, we can just say we can just use that API key, because I think generally, I mean, it really depends, because for example for Google, even when you're using the Google API, you have the API right there. If anyone gets a hold of that API, then they can use it. um, it's still exploitable, but I think then we can then look into measures on how to stop this. But I think the API key itself would be, yes, would be something that we could do. So generating an API key that you can use for your public widgets, is something we could go for. So that means that domains are not really, then we don't really need domains, then we need an API key. So for example, what should be an API key, and should it be should it be per person, or should it be per person, or should it be per session? I think it should be per project, now that I think about it, because each project can have its own API key. If you want to create API keys, then you could generate multiple API keys, and then you can start taking reviews from it. So that means that I should have API keys that I could work with. So let's talk about how we can save the API keys. So give me 1 second. Mm, okay, let's see. Also, then the question would be, if it's per user, then yeah, the problem is, if it's per user, then you could have multiple API keys that you could use anywhere on any domain. So I think it should be probably per project, or per allowed domain. I don't know. Maybe it could be, because it depends on how flexible we want to make it. So we could either say, hey, it's going to be, so each project can have multiple API keys, but then each API key could be bound to one domain. But then if you have multiple domains, then you would have to create multiple API keys. That's what I'm thinking right now. So, hmm, not really sure. Still thinking. The problem is, now let's think about the use case for tracking. So if my service is getting exploited from an API key, and if it can be used anywhere in the world, how can we say that this is potentially coming from this particular domain? Because I think if we have a domain associated with an API key, then it makes it much easier to trace back, if that makes sense. What do you think though? So each project can have multiple allowed domains, and each domain could have one API key. That could be interesting. But if we want to make it easy, then we have one API key per project, not per user, because I think that's gonna be chaotic. So it's either one API key per project, and then you can use it for, you can definitely use it everywhere. But then also, if you want feedback from multiple domains, then that becomes a problem. So I think the fine grained one would be allowed domains, to be honest. Hmm. Yeah. Okay. So then I think we would be looking at the schema for this guy. So we should be able to have some allowed domains as well. Hmm. Cool. So then let's let's implement this. So give me 1 second, and this should be right here. Can we get rid of this guy? I just want to see OBS. Okay, cool. And let's shrink this guy as well. And let's shrink this guy. Cool. So then that means that I should have, what's the time? Okay, 1:58. Cool. So then we can go ahead with this. Then each project should have Prisma module. So then each project should have some sort of I'm using Nest.js, which is built on Node.js. So each project would have allowed domains, and that should be we would have to create a model. So model allowed domain, and this should actually have an ID that should be int. It would be ID by default, and it should be auto incremented as well. So the default is auto increment, just like the other ones. I mean, ID and unique, we could also put those, but I think ID default auto increment is something I've used on most of them. So ID default auto increment. Then we should also have some sort of project ID. That's going to be int. What do we also need? Domain. Now this could be, I think this could be a string. We can decide if the string can contain multiple subdomains or not, but let's keep it simple. Then we also have, for the allowed domain, we should also have an API key string, and that should also be unique. Then we can also say project, which is going to be of type project, and I think we can define the relation. Oops, relation is going to be let's go with this guy. So fields project ID points to ID inside project, and let's also do on delete. So if my project is deleted, allowed domain gets deleted as well. That means this is going to be of type an array. What else do we need? What else should be there? I think we're good. So it says the type of field project ID in the model allowed non is that because the project ID is a string. I think this should have been int and unique. Project collaboration, it should be int as well. And this guy should be int as well. I think wherever I have ID, I should just say that it is a int. Provider ID string. The provider ID can be string. That's fine. Attendee ID and owner ID string. This should be int. Oh no, the user ID is a string. Sorry. Okay, what else do we have? I think we should be good. Cool. So let's do a Prisma clear npx Prisma db push. This should generate the Come on, why does this not allow this to happen? Can I? Okay. What happens if I open this into Linux terminal, Ubuntu? So cd users, no, c users Ahsan personal, no, yes, pulse checker, and npx prisma db push. Now this generates it without any issues. Here this just doesn't generate it. Super weird. Anyways, so in this case, okay, so I do have the project ID, the API keys to make this work. And then we have, so now I need to at least try to have all, I need to have all the users having one single project, which is called default. So if the user doesn't have any projects, we should be creating those projects, and then all the sessions that they have right now can be assigned to that project, if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Let's also put the this guy here. Cool. So I think, yeah. Yes. So we have the projects, each project's having one allowed domain, and you have one API key that you can generate, and then that can be used to embed the iframe. And then when we are trying to get a particular session, we can look at the project which the session is a part of, and we can see if the project has any API key that is being used right now with the iframe. And I think that makes it secure enough. Thinking. Cool. That makes sense. So then the idea then would be to have a bunch of things. So right now what we have done is we do have a global domains middleware, where we actually can, I think that more or less applies to everything apart from the excluded domains where the API can make calls from. That's also a problem because then I won't be able to use anything for, if I had a REST client. Did I have a REST client? No. But then if I use Postman or anything as such, I think that wouldn't work. But that's still good. Okay, so let's see. So session controller, what did we add? We removed the console logs. We did not want them. Docker Compose YAML changed quite a bit because I just wanted to use it in the on the dev environment. But that also brings one question: what is running at localhost 8080? Host. What's running there? Pa, pa. Okay, nothing is here. Nothing is here. Okay, then I have no clue. Maybe the app is opened somewhere else as well. But anyways, So if I go here, if I go here, I can remove this guy. I can go away from, or actually, let's keep this guy open. For the localhost 3000, I have maybe somewhere opened this. Maybe here. No. Okay, so the server is running here. Localhost 3000. Oh, maybe because here. You may have too many requests to your server. Of course. That makes sense. Okay, so that means we should still be able to run the app, but we would have to see, all right, what is the referrer, if they have the API call that we, or API key that we want, and then having a middleware that can look into that particular API call and take it from there. So let's do this. I'm gonna actually add, give me 1 second. Should be right here. Pulse checker. Projects, project. So we should be able to do it like this. So next middleware to allow vehicle owner from whitelisted sites. Such as public adware can be used on the iframe, or the domain should be able to use it. So in this case, I think the more nodes that we have is, if I can edit this. So what we have discussed right now is each project will have allowed domains. Each domain will have an API key. The iframe embed code snippet from the pulse checker app will have the API key mentioned and ready to copy. What would happen after that? When the iframe makes any API calls, it will include the API key, and the middleware. A middleware will ensure it returns data only if a valid API key is present. Okay, so I think that is it, what we discussed. So we have the API key in the iframe. The iframe makes the calls that contains the API key. The server validates it by the API key and then sends back the response. Otherwise, it doesn't. And we need to do it for for each project. Okay, so then what we also want to do then is add a default project to every user that has at least one session created already, and then make that session belong to the project, the default project. Create the UI for adding, or for adding allowed domains per project. I think it's probably not cool to have it per session, but rather per project. That makes much sense. So adding allowed domains per project, and to generate API keys for that, and to be able to revoke an API key, and to refresh it or regenerate API key. Okay, so that's what we need to do to create a project. Is there anything that I am missing right now? And then creating a middleware that does it. But I think that becomes part of this guy right here. I don't think I've missed anything, to be honest. We do have enough information to implement this, but I think I will do it in the next stream whenever that happens. And then we should be able to, I think then it should be nice. There was also one thing that I was working on, but just recalled it. Um, for sessions which require attendee verification, implement a way to log in via social auths and to create upsert an attendee linking to the user. This is to ensure that if a session requires authenticated attendees, we can link the social auth to the attendee ID. Okay, so I think that's pretty much it. I think for today, I'm gonna stop here and maybe we will do something similar in the next stream. So thank you everyone who has joined. If you are new to the channel, I'm Mohammed Hassan. I'm a software architect and I've been coding for more than 10 years. I create content that programmers can relate and then can learn from as well. So there are two sides of what we are doing. But there are more cool things that are coming up really soon. So if you have not looked at the YouTube channel, go there, check it out. It's called Code with Ahsan. If you have not looked at the Facebook group or the Facebook page, it's also called Code with Ahsan. Go there and like it. And if you're watching this video and if you found this useful, hit the like button, share it with everyone else, and do let me know constantly via Discord or via comments on Facebook what is it that you want to learn next from me. And if you have not only seen already, we have a bunch of courses on YouTube, on my website that you can just start following, super free. Nothing that we want, at least for now. So yes, take care of yourself, your families. I'm gonna see you later. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.